Welcome back. This is still Guide Review, and thanks for staying. Accidents are known to bring tears, while safety brings cheers. And safety should not be seen as a slogan, but a way of life. This morning, I'm asking, are you living a safe life whenever you're on the road? Share your thoughts with us on Facebook or Instagram at Daily Guide Network, or get personal with me on Instagram. Joining me in the studio to talk about everything related to road safety in the country is David Osafo Adonteng, the Director of Planning and Programming at the National Road Safety Authority. Mr. Adonteng, you're welcome.
Thank you.
First off, let me ask, the transition of what we all know to be the National Road Safety Commission to an authority now, what's new? Why that, and what should we expect?
Yes, thank you very much for this opportunity. I call it opportunity because for us at the National Road Safety Authority, we speak to people through the media. And so when we happen to come into some kind of interaction with the media, it's a big opportunity for us.
Indeed.
I work with an institution called the National Road Safety Authority. The authority used to be a commission. Set up in 1999 by an Act of Parliament 567. And for years, we were operating mainly as an institution that was advisory, recommending, liaising with others, a kind of collaboration and coordination. So all these words that I have used clearly signify that we were not doing things on our own, but we were looking at others to do for us to collaborate with. So at a point, we were just like a dog who can bite very loudly but cannot bite. And I think if you have such a dog at home, what happens to you is that you are not fully protected.
Not at all.
And so the crashes were just increasing at all points, from all corners. But we had to speak to government, looking at best practices across the world, that we must be seen to have control in what we call the road safety space. There's a space that the vehicle, the human being, and the road infrastructure operate. They interact.
Okay.
Because we realize that if that interaction is safe, it will bring the cheers.
Yes.
If it is not, and there's some deficiency somewhere amongst them or within them, then we see the crash.
Yes.
So what I'm communicating to you now is that the crash is not as a result of a certain deity or a certain spirit from somewhere, as some of us may believe, that when it gets into Christmas or Easter, the gods would want to see more blood.
More blood.
There are some occultic problems and so on. So they are the ones that push people into crashes and they get the blood. I'm saying that it is a deficiency that may occur within the interaction of the road, the vehicle, and the human being. I think that if it comes to the road, there's an authority, the Ghana Highway Authority, Department of Urban Roads and Feeder Roads. If it comes to the vehicle safety, the DVLA, and then if it comes to enforcement, it's the police.
Yes.
So when we were coordinating this, we had no control in anything that these institutions would do. I think government saw the need for us to move from a commission to an authority. As a commission, our core function was education, campaigns, publicity. Now we have moved from education, publicity, added on is enforcement of institutional standards. Now, let's get a difference. It is not to go and enforce the road traffic regulations. That is purely the police work, the MTTD. But we are looking at the institutions. For example, if Ghana Highway Authority should construct a road and we find deficiencies in the design, in a manner that we think, or in our opinion, that design may not be well for public safety, then we have to speak about it.
Okay.
We have to use our mandate, the new mandate, as the institution that regulates that industry, to change one thing or the other.
Okay.
If there's no line marking, if there are no street lights, if there are no pedestrian walkways or crossings, traffic signals, we call it traffic lights and so on, that is where we come in, to find out and ask questions. For example, on the N1, if you see what is happening on the N1, a lot of people are being hit all the time.
All the time.
All the time.
All the time.
During those days when the road was being designed and constructed, we're then a commission. All we could do was to recommend that we think that we must introduce a lot more of the footbridges on that stretch so that people would not have to walk long distances because it will discourage them. And there are areas that should require a footbridge, like the La Paz, which is not there now. Now, because we're a commission, we're unable to push the agenda. But this time around, it will be a different story. Because once we can use our mandate to say, no, we don't accept that particular design because we foresee some safety problems ahead. Automatic, it must be done. Because we say so. So that is the change that is coming. But we find a lot of vehicles running on our streets that are not roadworthy. At the commission level, we're only advising DVLA and the police to go arrest them. At this time we have the mandate and the power to remove that vehicle from the street. And so on. I think these are things, if you happen to see billboards scattered around on our roads, billboards, big sizes. Some of them are even like videos showing, what do we call it, football matches and advertisements and so on. And can you imagine distraction? So a driver sits in a vehicle and be watching a video along the roadside at the same time. And so we will use our mandate to get it removed accordingly. And so pushed either to a certain location or something like that. So that is what is coming.
Now I'll say congratulations on that note.
Thank you.
Now, recently, the Transport Minister, Honorable Isiama, expressed his worry over the increasing number of deaths on our roads. And if I'm to get the figures right, in about just 2 months, January and February, we recorded over 500 deaths from road accidents. And according to data, about 6,830 vehicles have been involved in accidents as compared to last year's 5,875. Now, 771 persons also died through road accidents this month, just this month, as compared to 595 last year. What is happening?
Something is happening. Indeed, these figures are statistics, but they happen on the ground. They don't just come from anywhere. They are figures that we have recorded as a result of the crashes happening on our roads. Can you imagine, 3 months, we have recorded a number of crashes which have resulted in 771 deaths in 3 months.
So alarming.
Very alarming.
Yes.
And if you look at our statistics, I think this is the first time we're hitting set figures, because in the past, 3 months appeared to be between 300 and 400. But now we're going into the 700s in 3 months. It means that something is wrong. Indeed, if we try to look at last year and this year, last year, the full 12 months, at the end of December, we had recorded 2,589 deaths. Now we are trying to add these 3 months, or even just last week, or this week, 14, 1 to 11 happening in Tamale, and 3 just here at Tesano. So 14 added. Together with the 2,589, we've already hit more than 3,000. Now, which disease or ailment here in Ghana that you can compare with coming close to, and not even the COVID,
not
the
at
COVID
all.
pandemic,
Not at all.
the same period of 15 months, I think we have not hit 800 yet. If we have, then correct me. So 3,000 plus and 800, which one is more devastating? But can you imagine the level of commitment by Ghana and Ghanaians? You know, we used to have our president on Sundays coming to fellow Ghanaians. You know that?
Fellow Ghanaians.
Because he was giving us updated information, creating that awareness, and how all of us followed him. We were at a point even locked down in our rooms and our home. There was no vehicle running, no human being running. Now at a point we have all been forced to put on what I'm wearing now. Nose masks. And others. Wash your hands, sanitize, and all that. And we are all following. And just recently, they said there's a vaccine. So you see the commitment from Ghana.
That's right.
But road accident is the senior brother of COVID.
I agree.
And so we have been with it over years. It is almost like becoming a norm. 2,000, oh, okay, and then we go and sleep.
It's nothing new.
And nothing new. But it is very devastating. That is because not only the figures as you see, because there is a certain home, as I speak to you now, somebody will have to stop going to school. Children. Because the breadwinner is gone.
It's gone.
Sure. The mother is gone, the father is gone. There are families that have gone like that. That a man, the husband, the wife, and children go at once and they are all wiped off automatically. Where I sit, these things are common. And so, homes, as you said, not safe, no cheers. If it's no cheers, then it turns to
tears.
Tears.
Yes.
So there are tears at home.
Yes.
To the extent that if we put together economically, we're losing 1.6% of our GDP into road traffic crashes.
Wow.
Hospital beds, medicines, loss of human capacity and human resources, and so on, put together 1.6% of our GDP, running into 800 millions or the billions of cities, which means that something is happening that we have all glossed over, and perhaps putting the attention on COVID alone. I'm not saying that COVID is not important, no, but I am saying there's a more serious problem than we think COVID is giving us.
Okay. Well, on that note, we went out there to get some views and opinions from Ghanaians. Some explained what they believe to be the reasons for these accidents, and some also explained their ordeal when it comes to police on the road. So I would like you to take a look. Viewers, let's take a look.
517 na omo kanu efa bi beye adawafo ne mfomso efa bi nso ye ekwan no se na ekwan ni sitie no because ekwan na ye nam so no ehia adwuma bebre e wo kwan no so especially Ghana ha major road pa ka fa so pa yi kuma si to Accra ekwan system ba na wa ye wom no se ka ye ne double road ama ya nke ye pen because obeko bedru baby ekwan na ye double baby ekwan na ye single baby ekwan na ye double an accident bia nso ebesi okwan no so bia nso wo hwa baby ho ne ye single lane na ka mienu bo nsa ho ne ho no na accident ne den esi enti no na wase panimfo no nso hwe no mo de kwa adwiri mu se ekwan no nso emma ye problem ni because obe check from ensawam ano hokọ pim ne ende na ye be mane abesi one way ni mu no accident record bia wo ho but when you see one way ni ma afi wo kopim apedwa no anytime be be record on accident bia that road no
all the roads are one way and it's not fair ekwan ni nia baako enti kronphobia no the pick up abesi kwa mu no across road no di nkwasi asem eno na ye meme hawo ena photos into overtaking kakra pena chese no anu no driver ni bia ni wo mpene nkwa omunya wo yiri mu wo ma ofie but obekọ mbabiom last week she adiesi wenyinem small boys 3 pe ena omo cause problems because of the road is one way se kwani so a obekọ kotam tipa truck na obekọ kotam 20 feet abesi kwani mu abokro no the road is one way so pick up kitwe bi na mo de crossing road no ena mo ye nkrofo but it's not fair omo sorry
road sanction no eboa se anu na be ma watu na hu se ekwan no du ha se wugina ekwan no du ha se ye den ukọ na ade ba ko hu se ye ekwan na wo Ghana ekwan nye bibi se kuma so so se eye long journey kwan ekwan no enye to bi enye anu no kire se ebi wo kọ na be bia o se do ban tu ba so no sambo no recent god I say anyone anu se o ko se abi o so ka bia say ka bia say o do police we juma ni say so we call rounds so kwano so no hu se ka bia say o se ye twisi kwan so anu ye twifi ho enti because accident bi assisa so a ebi o na nye driver no ebi o do obanhu anu we play car so police ni jira wa o jira for license o car papers o check it so wo bi nko ande a o de mana ni problem but everything we need driver ni police intem so obi adidi na adwuma ho obi wo opentem akọ and o jira ya so me pesa say ni say o de license ni mana o de bibia to na o ko wegu on so nya putre en twen say obe check unyama enye o de metra say Police need to be a quite cover for condition of to me. I didn't be a few. Because someone could tell a police need to have a phone. What am I saying?
Yeah, no crown and query you. And the main mate, yeah, about 2 months and as a 3 months. A book COVID-19 cradiano. Inti the Acosuno so a survey. Potos in a way a quan of son. Your quan of son, the first one I do. Near Numbre. The net tracks I can see. Burkina Faso and the cousin and Namso. A quan in ye. You're simpering for more. A quan in ye. Probably for maybe an one number was or better when him. O num se be o namno amana bi wo ho no abe cross o just na rosa no so sisi kwa no so nyina so aya fedi asai unhu the see an nanado buy no abe road mark or dey light abe bom kebu asaf ka fukra no na ka bi asasi wo se nya sa ayi light na nka unhu na de koso nyina no aya sa rose no iti abesre isi awu kuma se kwan ya aye ko ya ufra pedade ko e ko kukure ufra ye di ko ya hadwen ha simple for na accident na ko so nyina no enye bibia wo private man bi ofra trade ba wo de hwede eboni yakoto eboni ba bia no omu bai na ho ya ke bia driver no kra no ko bu de obeye private man bi wo ho a onfa so da onfa kwa no so da e bi onum se amla bi wo ho anase bia bompi bi anase photos bi anase bibi ana ese road yin so a esisi kwa no so no eno so no ese omo hwe no omo di fufura de esisi no wo twa kafu na wo sa high chef kafu wo du ramp wo sa high ramp ba bia nya anase join the one road a no wa hu the problem anu no adabafo no ye bre
bebe bia ni ho a ompe ni nkwa wati mate bebe ni bia wo ma ni yiri wo fi a okwa onim se okwa aba akọ back to the bush nti ontimi and drive in a way a obekwa akoka but say ya ye tutu kwan nim say ya kwan nye me kwan tufo me tu kwan across the country kwan ni na anye Water Region Road Takrady Road Kumasi ni na anye na 21st century highways na one way you need dual carriage ways your friends anti obi service portal no boom ni type ya accident
and please for no bi o wa so one share ma say e bia school for your mobile ya enu am school for e tu bi de ma gutran car no so kan de ko for the car de e ni clear wa say bi o is so a please for show am pepper parking so if I see the crowd am say da bi so school for ya enu am school for your mo ko ukura ya ma ko e cha no ko mu ntua so say e we nya e bo mo kakranka aha that was in home asise ya ma no bo say gwachi bebre sika bi anim aya be 30 Ghana na o gbajim 10 ala bia me a megina chira megina wi meteche no so mesu magi bi wo e bia ya me nko a da be bi wo a onika o floor e se onso ere onye bi wo mo ere yeah nti so bodu kwan so na se omo 5 ana 2 no wanje a na wo na kumam na ha no
your friend say Tuesday na atwa mu no bi fi dan bai na eba nipa mienu pe na e wo kan no nipa mienu pe na e wo kan no ma me di fi dan bai tukofodia imagine say me bedu hoho no ne police for no stop me say me gina na me gina e obegina kan no mu na o hwe kan no mu na obi ani kan no mu no obegina me nche say me man me license no hwe ana me gina license man o hwe ni mu na o hwe ekire no ono ka jira o hwe ni mu na ekire na wie no o ka jira me say o license ni ejani obegina kan ni mu na o hwe kan ni papers ni wie ya no income tax ya 15 no ono ka jira me say minim say me paper ni bia wo na me ka jira say income tax ni ne o ka jira me say obekire I'm saying 15th and net date yesen anu bi say ade na ma bi say no question na me na me kire na djuma obeyana nso wa ho obi ani kan no mo nti de we na wo ye no wo hwe ni nyama na wo ye na wo tibi hu say opeska so wa ho nti wa maniska emfa hu say odi obegina ho for so many hours time on no pen no wa yamo because oh ya dia police won ye okwa no so man say o mu ye but this time wo fia but this time wo kodu we ya odu teacher mantia wo ba hu say kofodia for no gina ho mo your place can be o twemu bia wo de wo fa nya ma wo ye hwan wo lappy for no bia omo jiska.
So those were some concerns raised by some drivers and passengers about the current state of road safety in the country. Mr. Adonteng, yes. You saw everything, you heard it for yourselves.
Yes.
most of these people are complaining about the bribery situation coming from the police. They're talking about the roads, how bad the roads are. They're talking about there's no street lights situation in the country, and a whole lot. What do you think that? First, let's start with the police. Do you think that they are really being fair to these drivers? Because I believe that they ride on the illiteracy, I would say illiteracy of these drivers. Some have even tagged them our wives when you get to certain points and they meet the policemen who are supposed to check on their vehicles or the state of their vehicles. They just go like, oh, our wives, we have to give you people something. Is this right?
Okay, I think I appreciate the concerns of our friends. They're on the ground. So they see what is happening.
Yes.
And I think that we have met a couple of issues like this. And that, in the first place, should tell you that we are operating in a very complex environment. An environment that all of us are there from morning to evening and to night. The problems are enormous. Many. Now, the road infrastructure, I'll come to enforcement.
Okay.
If you look at Ghana, our roads, I would not say that we have best roads. No.
Not at all.
But for us to have that level of safety we are looking for, then our roads must be good or safe. That is what the whole world is looking at. How do we invest money into our roads so that the road infrastructure can support the kind of education we're doing?
Yes. That's another point.
If the road is good, then the possibility of somebody behaving well, it's very high.
It's very high.
And so we're expecting that government will invest money into the road infrastructure, construction and maintenance.
Okay.
And one critical thing is what they're talking about. Our national networks must be dualized. I think that one, there's no compromise about that.
That's right.
This is because most of the crashes we are recording now appear to be head-on collisions. And when it is head-on, the severity or the fatality is high.
It's high.
And so we're looking for ways of eliminating that head-on collisions. In recent times, we put up statistics that showed about 11 or 13 crashes of that nature, where most of them were head-on.
Head-on.
And if you look at the numbers, so it means that we must do everything possible to dualize some of the road network, particularly the one that are international, Accra, Kumasi, all the way to Techiman, Kintampo, to the north. And then Accra to Takoradi in particular, to Aflao, and then to Akosombo. These are roads that are very busy. From morning to night to dawn, people are traveling all times, not sleeping.
That's true.
When we attempted to open up, dualize it at Nsawam bypass, and then we did another one at Nkoko bypass, we haven't heard of any head-on.
Right.
So they are typical examples for us to do the dualization. I think when they say it here, we agree.
Okay.
It is something that government must do.
Okay.
But let me assure everybody that the recent budget that was read by government, we saw line items of Accra Kumasi Road in particular to be an expressway. Government said they have even awarded contract on the dualization of Tema to Akosombo. And so they are looking at Tema to Aflao and then all the way through Accra to Takoradi. I think we're looking forward to that.
Okay.
But besides the road infrastructure, one very key thing that we must be doing is enforcement. And I think they are right.
That's true.
The attitude of our police in ensuring that people comply with the rules and regulations.
Yes.
I think that we've had a lot of challenges with it. And you and I know. I believe you have met a couple of times
I
the
always
police.
experience that.
And so if we are to bring this microphone to everybody in Ghana to say one thing or the other about the police, I think that some of them you would have to, be sorry for.
Yes.
But is that the way to go?
I don't think so.
That is not. Because elsewhere in the world, policing on the road is so vigorous that you dare not. Police may not even come closer to you.
You're just
They're
scared.
sitting somewhere,
Yes.
you're scared.
You're scared.
You see the police and you dare not make the mistake. Because the repercussions are so high and bad that you don't want to go to that experience. They won't come closer to you, but you go and make the mistake and see.
Now I see street light being
And
mounted,
so-
but people are still not
And
scared
so,
of it.
the police, perhaps some of them, I must say not all of them, a lot of them are working hard.
Some.
But there are some of them, I must call them bad nuts perhaps,
Yes,
who are making it very difficult for drivers to operate freely. And indeed, some of these drivers have also taken advantage. Like you said, once I know that I can drop something and move away, perhaps there are compromises here and there. But the effect of it is on the figures that you're seeing. Because if somebody is underaged, not experienced, we have a couple of them that we arrest that have invalid driver's license. They don't have the license, but they're operating.
Are you going to check that?
And they are sitting behind steering wheels,
yes,
taking 30 people, moving for a distance of, and so on. I think that some of these things must be checked. And it is the police.
Yes.
I am looking for a day when the police will say, we are now moving away from this manual way of interrogating one-on-one. It should be a thing of the past. Because if you go around across the world, no, you go to London, go to Australia, go to South, you will not find any traffic police on the road. But they are there. They call it electronic policing. And so I am expecting to see cameras very soon installed at selected location around our road network.
Yes.
Police will be in a room like this, like you and I are sitting here,
yes,
monitoring the screen. Everything happening on the road in real time is being monitored. And then they can move and apprehend you and so on. In that case, nobody comes in between you and the vehicle owner or the operator or the driver.
Okay.
There is no compromise.
Yes.
There's nobody calling in to interfere. These are my boys. Leave them and so on, as we're experiencing currently. So I think that we want to see a paradigm shift from the current enforcement practice to a modern electronic and technological-based practicing. I think that's what we're also expecting.
Yes, we are.
But moving forward, we must also, as individuals, in whichever capacity we find ourselves, drivers, pedestrians, passengers, motorcyclists, and so on, should look at changing our mindset and our behavior.
It starts with us.
Because that is the behavior that is encouraging some of all these things. If my vehicle is well registered, roadworthy, and all the other documents around it, my valid driver's license, and I sit behind the steering wheel, I don't care who comes to ask me, the police officer.
That's true.
And there's no way I'll pull out money from my pocket and give it to you. Because I know that everything around my vehicle and myself is valid, it's correct. Yes. So why would I fear? Look at our motorcycle riders. Now, there are so many across the country, and in the cities, it's a worse situation. Everywhere you pass motorcycle, some of them, I'm told, they are even using for commercial purposes. They call it Okada and so on.
Yes.
In fact, some of you here around this particular area, I'm sure you see them a lot.
Yes.
But look at their behavior. They don't wear helmets. They get to intersections and it is red for traffic signals and they pass. And it's as if there are no laws in this country. So I think the police must be up and doing.
They should.
So that they should enforce the rules and regulations vigorously. We, as an authority, will move ahead. We'll go ahead all the time and educate. In fact, it's the education. But I can tell you, education without enforcement is only entertainment.
Right.
We'll just be entertaining ourselves.
It's true.
So I think they have a case there.
Yes.
So institutions like us and our stakeholders must be up and doing.
You really should.
DVLA should sit up. Give licenses to only those who are qualified.
Yes.
Police, move out there and implement programs and activities based on technology. It is the new practice now across the world. And then the National Road Safety Authority, we also move out there and scale up our education, much as we have the media groups like you. In fact, you called me here today, and you're not even taking a peso for me, because you're looking at this as a social responsibility.
Yes, yes.
It is the people, and you are there for the people.
That's right.
And so I think that is the way we should go in that collaboration.
That's right.
To change things the way they are
That's
now.
Right. That's right. Now, let's look at this this situation, the issue of faulty station vehicles on the edges of our roads. Another factor to also that I think that you should also look into as an authority, these mechanic shops who sometimes go beyond their designated areas of work, park used vehicles. Some have been on the roads for about more than 10 years, parked on the edges of our roads. They limit the space for for road networks.
Yeah.
Shouldn't you be looking into that direction too? Because they are also another contributing factor when it comes to the road accidents.
No, I think you're right.
Yes.
In recent times, myself and the police, we went around. My job is more like an operation. So I moved with the police operational team, and we identified all these locations where mechanics have taken portions of the lanes and narrowed then the ones that should be used by traffic. It's so appalling.
It is.
We attempted to, kind of remove some of these vehicles. Now it came to a matter of cost. Who pays for it? We are now reviewing our road traffic regulations. Well, the police have done a few in recent time. I think it's a very tedious because sometimes you have to use force. Force means that you have to go with your own towing vehicles and remove them. It's a very difficult task. But it is one of the issues we have identified, that under this our authority dispensation, mechanics and workshops are all being roped in to discuss the best way of practicing so it doesn't become an adverse problem for the motorists. We are currently registering them. You see, the problem is just like fighting galamsey. You see, that is where they eat.
Yes.
That is where they also live and survive.
Yes, yes.
They don't have the space. Now, the assembly have been coming to take land fees or something, taxes, even in this situation.
Yes.
So we are talking to the assembly. How do you then get them better spaces so that they can move off the streets? And this will not be a day or two. Somebody has operated for a number of years on the streets. Now you are asking them to go. Go to where? If you use force, then what it means is that, so it is happening in MPP's time. The NDC wouldn't have done that. So politicized. So politics comes in, and so they say, we won't vote for you. Then somebody's fear, leave them, find a better way. And so I think all these things, we weigh all of them and try to see the best way. I'm saying that they are one of the groups in our books. We're finding a better way of doing that. Just like the hawkers. Go to the city center and see. They have taken all the walkways. Some are even selling on the streets.
That's right.
And these are matters that we are bringing up gradually.
Okay.
I think under the authority dispensation from the commission, there are certain drastic measures that we need to take.
Okay.
When we are taking these drastic measures, the people should support us.
Right.
Media should support us.
We are there.
And we must have that political will.
Right.
In a manner that if we ask people selling on the streets to leave the streets, if you flout the law, we will arrest you and perhaps prosecute you. Then nobody comes to say that leave them, they are people. I think that issue should be a thing of the past.
Okay.
So we are going to work with the assemblies
Okay.
to get and sanitize all these situations.
Right.
I can assure you that come the next couple of months, when we are expecting Parliament to pass our LI, that is the only thing left now. The act has been passed, made us an authority. But there's an LI that should come to support us to operationalize some of these mandatory things. So that the law will now back us if we want to go out there and remove mechanics along the streets or the roads. It is possible that we can use our LI, use the law court to move them away.
Okay.
So I think gradually it will come up.
Okay, so we'll be taking a look at what the NRSA has for us. That's come June, I believe, right after this break. Please stay.